So we're on our drive in for the first hunt of the year. Dad's helping get me mentally prepared for the strong possibility. I mean, he's very confident that we're going to see at least one, if not two, very nice bucks that he's been seeing. Dad helps me get into this Venatic saddle and goes through all the different features, and we start making our way in. We're taking the long way into the set. I hadn't seen the set yet. We're doing a nice long drag over a lot of different scrapes where he's freshening up these drags, and so we're taking this long way into the stand, and we finally get there. We're going through these CRP plots, and I couldn't believe when I had seen it for the first time. It was maybe 10 inches round at the base, and then it just split at the top where we would be in our different spots. But so we get settled into it, and I couldn't believe how comfortable it was, honestly. I'm just getting used to getting used to the set for the first time, and Dad's shooting some B-roll. I'm noticing the uncut cornfield behind us, the huge CRP plot in front of us. Dad points out probably 300-400 yards away from us this just nasty overgrown area that's uncut, where he's quite confident that these bucks are bedding down, especially the one in particular. Yeah, so the night progresses pretty quietly. It was probably about an hour until sunset. It's getting cooler out, and all of a sudden Dad says, is that a rack? And sure enough, maybe 100 yards, a little over 100 yards away, it was him. It was that 9-point up across the CRP cut in the corner. So we thought with his body language we might be able to get a response out of him with some calling, and Dad threw a couple of sequences at him with some rattling and a couple of grunts. About 20 minutes watching this buck and rattling, grunting, he started trotting across the field, and we picked up a doe that he was chasing. I picked up that doe that he was chasing across the field. So he cuts into a hedgerow in front of us, lost visual of him, and we thought for the night, probably done for the night. We didn't think we were going to see any more bucks, any more activity for the night. So Dad and I are sitting there strategizing tomorrow morning's hunt, thinking that tonight was done, and talking about going mobile, and all of a sudden a buck which he had just been talking about that he calls Swiggy, an interesting 10-point who's got some serious character as well, which we both considered a shooter, came across the field much closer than that 9-point had, and we thought that he might be able to present us with a shot because we did have shooting light left. So Dad throws a couple call sequences at him as well. He worked his way into about 60 yards where I had him ranged at, but with low light. And knowing that I was going to have an opportunity with us going mobile with these saddles across the field the next day, I didn't feel like it was an ethical shot that night, so we let him go. He worked his way back across the field. So we made sure that Squiggy was good and gone, and as we had discussed before we had even seen him, we were going to make our way across the field and set up in an area where Dad and Papa had already hunted before, and where we were pretty certain that big 9-point had bedded down when he was following that doe, to set ourselves up for a good hunt the next morning. So it was a beautiful sunrise the next morning. Sun just bouncing off of the frost in the CRP field. The only weird thing was the noise, really. We're out in the woods, but only maybe 100 yards behind us, maybe a little more than 100 yards behind us, you hear tractor trailers ripping by us in the freeway.
And had a great first hunt last night. Got to saw the nice 9-point up on this property, and a nice 10-point as well. So we're hoping to catch them getting out of bed this morning. It's a nice cold morning, frost on the ground, just seeing the sun get over the horizon now.
An hour after we're getting settled in, cutting from one side of the field to the other of the CRP, there he was, following that doe again.
So after an exciting first night back where we saw that 9-point that we were targeting and a nice 10-point as well, we made the move over here. Dad decided to move the saddle set over here to the other side of the CRP, hoping to catch him traveling through, and it was the right move. We saw the 9 point on the other side following a doe this morning, hoping to catch them coming across how they, their normal pattern, grazing through here, eating, and they just kind of worked their way northward to the other corner. It's possible that they're bedded down. We've lost sight of them. We've lost visual, so we're hoping that we end up seeing them again. But we're probably just going to move across the field tonight and hope to catch them tonight at the end of the hunt. So it's been an eventful morning. Hopefully we see them again. If not, we'll try to catch them on the other side tonight.
So we gave it a couple of hours after we lost sight of that buck and the doe. Tore the set down. Dad had a killer migraine, but we had already made a plan about how we were going to work our way across that field and set up for the night. So we hunted our way across the field. So if by chance he had bedded down with the doe, we would, and that we bumped him, we would be able to get a shot off at him. Didn't see him, so we were very confident that he had worked his way into that bedding area. Worked our way over, and there really wasn't many trees over there to set up in. There was about 5 trees, a cluster of 5 trees. We didn't have much to work with, so that's where we were going to be setting up. So it definitely took a little bit of playing around with these platforms and the sticks before we felt like we would be able to, with Dad up above me and myself shooting, where we would be able to actually hide, because there really wasn't a hedgerow, and this was a very small tree that we were getting up into. And like I said, there was only about 5 trees there, so it took a little of moving things around before we really felt like we were going to be comfortable and be able to hide and get a shot off at this buck if he came out of that bedding area or where we thought he was. So we get out of there after setting things up, go home, take about an hour power nap, grab ourselves a quick meal, and when we get back out, that cornfield that was behind us the previous 2 hunts that we were in that area is gone. Now we knew that they had been lining trucks up there, and it was a matter of time before they started taking corn out of that field, but we didn't think everything was going to be combined and gone by the time we got out there that evening. So we weren't set up for long at all before a couple of doe were out in that cut cornfield feeding. They fed around for a while, and shortly after that, really, there was coming out into the CRP field, there was a nice 2-year-old 8-point that was working his way out in front of us as well. That 2-year-old 8-point, that nice 8-point, is working a scrape, working the cornfield, ended up working his way right towards us after Dad threw a couple grunt calls at him, and I thought to myself it would make some really great footage for us if he came under us, and he did. He came right under us, and at the time I thought to myself, I probably could shoot this deer, but as he got closer, I started to have second thoughts, because it was only the 3rd hunt that I had been out that year, and had some pretty incredible encounters already with some bigger, more mature bucks. So I held off. I said, no, I'm not going to shoot him. And not long after that, I knew I had made the right call. All of a sudden Dad said, it's the big boy. And I'm thinking to myself, oh good, he's coming out right where that 8-point had worked his way out from. He's going to work that same path. He's going to give me a nice easy 15-20 yard shot. It's going to make perfect footage. But he started to work his way right across the field and right to where we were that morning. And so I was like, I'm not going to get a shot at this deer. Dad threw a call sequence at him. I think he bleated at him, maybe threw a couple grunts at him as well. And he did start to cut across to where I would have a shot at him. This at the time, but all of a sudden I heard Dad above me whisper to me, you gotta shoot him now, you gotta shoot him now. It was about a 30-yard shot. So I didn't know why I had to shoot him now, but I had a good shot at him. I pulled the trigger, and you know, I put a good shot on him. It was about a 30-yard shot. I saw him struggling as he was running into, you know, where he had come from, and at the time I had thought maybe I hit him a little forward, but you know, I thank the Lord for the opportunity to have taken a good broadside shot at him, and was just hoping to myself, man, I hope I didn't hit him forward. And when we watched it back, it turned out he didn't make it 100 yards from where I had shot him. It was a double lung, good shot. And after talking to Dad afterwards, the reason I had to shoot him now is that other buck was bristling up and gonna run across the field at him, and they might be locking horns. I don't think he was afraid. I don't think the bigger buck was afraid of the smaller buck and was gonna run away, but we don't really know what was going to happen if I didn't shoot him right then. So it was a pretty cool hunt, pretty cool sequence of 3 hunts really, from moving around so much, having that happen, that sequence of events happening, just one hunt alone was a cool hunt. So
what an opportunity, what a hunt though. That was crazy.
Tell me the saddle.
We just gotta pray that we got.
What's that?
We just gotta pray that I got a good shot there.
Yeah, so after we had watched the footage back and known that it was a good shot, we did a little celebrating, a little fist bumping, a little giving thanks. And of course after that, I could see, you know, circling back to how these hunts started, why Dad was so obsessed with these saddles and why he loved them so much. In three hunts, in a day and a half, we had made 3 moves, one of them being to this, not even a hedgerow, with a small cottonwood where Dad's just tucked behind it. He's got me with just a little backdrop with an uncut cornfield. We're just surrounded by deer the whole day, or the whole night that we were out, and we didn't get picked off a single time. The deer had no idea we were there. There's no way with a lock-on tree stand or a ground blind. There was a ground blind, anything. There's no other way we were going to be able to kill this buck.
You can see here what we had to work with today. Nothing for a hedgerow really at all, from where we were yesterday to where we are today. Tonight, I should say. That's the beauty of the saddle. Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. I love you.
I love you too. Look at that.
Monster. It's an old deer. Yeah, seriously. Oh, what a mess. Yeah. Look at this beast. That is an awesome deer. Look at the character.
Good shot.
Yeah, it's a lot better. I mean, I was a little nervous on the shot, but
Look at the blade on the G2.
he did not make it far. This is an old deer. What an awesome, awesome couple of days.
Day and a half. I mean, you see how quickly he closed the deal on with a saddle. I mean, imagine taking tree stands down, moving tree stands.
Yeah, that would have been so much more difficult with just... So we've been hunting this guy for the last, 36 hours or so, the last day and a half. My first time out this year was last night. Saddle set down in the corner. He was across the field probably an hour before last light on a hot doe. So we tried the opposite side of the field this morning. He was on the same hot doe. We couldn't get him really within 100 yards either day. Today we went mobile after the morning hunt when we saw him across the field and hung that set, went mobile, put it in that little cottonwood. I mean, you guys saw what we had to work with very little room in that hedgerow in that cottonwood, and had the little, well not little, little compared to him, but nice 8-point come through that I passed up, heard him grunting. Yeah, because it would have been a really cool footage, but I heard him grunting, he came through scraping, and what a hunt.